Hey guys, I just wanted to make this really quick video on the AR tier list in Ironsight, especially with the new gun edition. I've been meaning to make a video about this for a while, and I think that the AR is the most important gun class in the game. SMGs are, you know, really weak when it comes to mid and long ranges. You're basically going to lose to an AR almost every gunfight at those ranges, especially if both bullets from, enemy and you are both colliding with each other. And there's a reason why in tournament play and stuff like that, they're pretty much always using ARs. So ARs are going to be just overall better time to kill, better at range, and the movement speed with the double time perk is actually still pretty fast. So obviously you can still experiment and use other guns, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to focus on ARs because that's the most important class setup for sure. Okay, so I have about 600 hours in Ironsight in general, and I still play almost every day. I play when I can, depends on work and stuff. But to start this off, if if you played the game for a while, you know the AUG is pretty dang good. The AUG time to kill, and especially at range, is unmatched. The QBZ in time to kill at range is probably about, it's probably the same. There's technically less damage drop off with the QBZ, but the rate of fire and the recoil control with the AUG, I still rank it as a superior weapon. This gun, you won't see me using it much. If you ever watch my streams or YouTube gameplays or anything like that, you won't really see me use it, and that's because I feel bad using it, in all honesty. Sometimes it kills too quick, and it's well, that didn't feel right. So I don't generally use it much. I prefer, mixing it up and experimenting and stuff like that. I would only pull out the AUG if I'm actually doing a scenario where winning really matters. If it was scrimming or clan, even in clan war I didn't use it, but still, the AUG is still the best in the game. It's kind of unmatched. QBZ, I ranked it as second. Its time to kill is very fast at range. It's incredible. Its recoil and rate of fire up close isn't the greatest, but it's still strong enough. I'd rank it the second gun, or second place gun. This whole loadout here, some of these can be whipped around each other just from personal preference, but this is the way it feels to me. The M4 has incredibly low recoil and still does a lot of damage, and same with the TAR-21, but I just kind of feel that the TAR-21 just kills a little, or hits a little harder, kills potentially a little quicker, and especially at range, I think, too. But then the M4, I'm ranking it, it's really close between these two, but I'm putting the M4 behind the TAR-21. The M4 is probably what I'd continue to use in clan wars and stuff like that, though. AK-47 in this version of the game is incredible. Its time to kill is crazy fast. People say it 3 shots. I haven't really tested it out, but I'll put the AK just behind the M4 and I put it above the OTS. The OTS has definitely lower recoil. It's more user friendly, but I don't feel like it deals as much damage as the AK. So that's why I rank the OTS amongst all the rest of the weapons in the game. And the SCAR and K2C, it's kind of a throw up. I put the K2C above it just pretty much because it's lower recoil and more bullets per mag. The SCAR, you could actually argue, some people would say, especially for S&D, if it's S&D, the SCAR belongs somewhere up here. But for factoring in how good the gun is in the whole game as a whole, I'm putting it over here just because that 20 round mag really hinders it, especially if you're playing something like Secure Point, CTF, having to reload that often and have less ammo. It doesn't do anything good for those game modes. Obviously, you can still do incredibly well with it. It bounces around a lot more than other guns, but if you hit all your shots, its time to kill is amongst the best in the game. But it's just the magazine, basically, that kind of holds it back, especially in the other modes. The rest of these here, for B class, Type 89, G36C, Famash, I put as the top 3. Type 89 was nerfed a little bit from the previous version of the game that I was playing, but it still does a lot of damage. It just has a bit more recoil, I think, is what the fix that they did to it. G36C is a straight-up laser beam. I think it has probably arguably the lowest recoil in the game, almost, out of all the ARs. G36C can still do good damage at mid and long range, especially with a low recoil. Your odds are you're going to be connecting more bullets. I always recommend when you're starting off this game, use the M4, use the TAR, use the G36C. Those are going to be your best guns starting off. And then after that, maybe experiment a bit. I started with the M4 and I'm happy I did. After that is the Famash, the P shooter at range, but absolutely shreds up close. So my most recent 113 kill game was Famash, and that was Cloud9 because that's a really small map, and the Famash actually, can clearly discover that up close it absolutely lasers. So if you're playing tighter spaces, the Famash is still an amazing weapon. Mid-long ranges, it kind of falls off, almost like an SMG in a way. AK-12 I put right behind it. I recently moved this up. The first 4 bullets of the AK-12 is basically all visual recoil. If you spray a wall with the AK-12, your first 4 bullets basically stay in place. So that's actually really interesting. Even though your gun's kind of bobbing, your first like 4 bullets, you can actually just hold mouse 1 and not move your hand, and you're going to laser some people. It's got a 40 round mag, which is actually a big bonus, I think, especially for playing a mode like Secure Point. Its rate of fire is just really slow, and it doesn't feel like it kills as quick as some of the other guns. And sometimes the camera recoil can throw you off after like the first 5 bullets or so. So I'd still rank it as a B tier weapon. SG, I believe, still kills faster than the ARX. I feel like I do more damage with the SG 53. ARX I've used before, but it feels like just such a mid-tier, nothing special about it, just a brick that shoots bullets type of gun. I couldn't give it a special placing. And then the MSBS is kind of... MSBS and ARX are really close. I just feel like the MSBS is like a kind of a slower version. So yeah, that's the C tier weapon I put it as. SA-58. Underneath that, it's basically the worst SCAR. It has lower recoil, but it's still the 20 round mag. Like obviously you can level these things up and put on different attachments to make them better or worse. But you know, as is the SA-58, I put down to C tier just because it's, you know, not as powerful as the SCAR. It still has a 20 round mag, so I wouldn't consider it one of the better ARs to use. Training M4 if your class breaks, just because it's full auto and still very low recoil like the M4. If you can get used to the Ironsight of it, it's actually pretty good. So that's still above the single fires for me. After that, I put HK and EMR. I don't feel, unless you're playing maybe Search and Destroy, I don't feel single fires are as viable at all. If you're transferring target to target, you're flicking, you're in the zone, you're jumping around, you're anticipating, you're doing all your plays and stuff like that, it's not going to be as fluid. You're not going to... I don't think anyone's going to be dropping too many 100 bombs with the single fire weapons. Just from like, you know, transferring targets is the biggest thing with single fire guns that makes it a bit more problematic. But yeah, so I put the single fire guns underneath here. I put the HK above the EMR. I haven't used them too often, but I'm just generally more comfortable with the HK over the EMR. You know, it's all personal preference. I don't know which one is technically better than the other. Just use whichever one you feel is better for you, but I wouldn't I wouldn't use any of them. So after that, I put the AN-94 just because it's a 2-round burst that hits very inconsistent in my opinion. Apparently it used to be really good, and then they nerfed it. So the 2-round burst and then the recoil, and then, you know, having to have... That's the reason why automatics are just generally better, especially in this game. You don't have to think about that. You don't have to like time it while transferring targets around and stuff like that. And even if you do, it's not even that much better than... You know, it's not better than the full autos hitting every shot. Like it's I don't know. I just ranked the AN-94 at the very bottom. So this is basically it for the AR tier list. I have, you know, August still technically the king. And then after that, these are my A tier weapons, you know, QBZ through SCAR, B tier, Type 89 through ARX, C tier, MSBS through Training M4, HK, M39, EMR, AN-94. I might make an SMG one as well. Again, I have like 600-ish hours in this. I have a pretty good understanding how all the weapons work. I've played in, you know, competitive settings, which, you know, this game I don't think is ready to have competitive yet. But, you know, I've used everything a bunch. I've experimented a lot, and this is just my general opinion. Obviously, it's not an official tier list or anything like that. But it's just, you know, if it can help someone, if they want to take a, you know, visual of this and be like, okay, maybe I want to try this gun now, then, you know, the tier list did its job. So, yeah, interested to see what you guys think, too. Throw some comments down about, you know, what guns feel best in your hands. I know some people are like, you know, TAR-21 is the best for me. I think TAR-21 belongs in the S tier. Or I think, you know, the QBZ is actually better because it does more damage at range, and it's actually not that hard to control. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is my personal tier list. That's it for this video. Wanted to make it short, quick, sweet. But, yeah, stay tuned for more videos, I guess. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.